Hey everyone, my name is Michelle Zenisek, and this is my first time going live on YouTube. But today, um, want to talk about teaching people how to treat us. This is something that I've really been focused on a lot lately. The whole boundaries topic, and something that struck me um recently was I'm just a little bit about me. I'm a single mom. My kids are young adults now, but they still live with me. They're both in college. And I also am a caregiver to my parents. My mother is disabled. She requires round the clock care. She had a massive stroke a little over 5 years ago. And so I think this is like, especially when it comes to caregiving, is really become very im- recognizable to me how important it is um, to have boundaries. And so I apologize for the nasal sound. I'm allergies. And I think I have a bit of a cold too. But we're gonna power through this. So, given my caregiver role, I am in a lot of Facebooks that about caregiving and support for caregivers and that sort of thing. And there's this one woman who posts frequently, and I keep telling her the same thing. And I know it's that she needs that courage and that strength to do what she needs to do. But ultimately, the way now understand you're hearing her side of it, right? You you don't hear the other side of it, but the way she tells it is that she's a caregiver for her mother-in-law. She still has young kids at home. I It sounds like that, maybe one's a teenager. I don't know how old all her kids are or how many she has. And her mother-in-law seems to be getting worse when it comes to dementia. And so, and she is feeling like she can't do this, and it's really hurting her kids having to watch this and all of that. And it seems the way she makes it sound is when she talks to her husband, he dismisses her. She's fine. There's nothing wrong. You're doing fine, blah, blah, blah. And so then she tries to talk to her husband's siblings and gets the same reaction from them. So what I say to her is you need to set a date. Like the last day you're going to be a caregiver. Make it like a month from now, maybe. You just say to your husband, this is it. This is the last day I'm taking care of your mother. I don't know what you and your siblings need to determine to get her the care she needs, but at this point, I'm removing myself from the situation. Doesn't mean I don't care about your mother. It doesn't mean it's just she is at a point that it sounds like that she is. It's just more than this woman can handle. Okay. And now I don't know if this woman has taken my advice. Probably not. Um, but ultimately, and I know that takes a lot of courage to do that, because when you do something like that, it's going. Her husband probably is not going to react well to it, right? I mean, if she does that, her husband's not going to react well to that. Which just proves there's an issue there. He is not listening to her, and he is not hearing what she has to say. And it sounds like it's affecting their kids, and she needs to put them first. So, so the main thing is here, when it comes to boundaries, is if we don't set those kind of boundaries, people will just walk all over us, right? So we need to set boundaries with people and let them know how we want to be treated. When you let people walk all over you, that's what they're going to do. It's wrong for them to do that. It's wrong for anyone to take advantage of somebody else. But it's what we call owning your side of the street. You have to own your side of the street and say, I'm not going to let someone treat me that way. The other person's side of the street is that they've got to decide that they're not going to treat people like that. And honestly, I would say most people who walk all over other people, they don't realize that's what they're doing. And it doesn't excuse them, right? It doesn't excuse them, but they don't understand that that's what they're doing. Um, so the way we teach people how to treat us is by setting an example and being assertive. I have my 2 kids, and I've been divorced from their father since 2006. So, and he has a girlfriend that he's been with for years now, and, my kids often say that she treats them, um, she talks to them like they're children. And they're both my son will be 22 in a couple weeks, and actually in a week, and my daughter will is 19. And so I said to them, this is where being assertive comes in. You want to say to her, and you don't have to do it. You don't have to, I tell them, you don't have to be rude. You don't have to be a jerk. Don't wait till she pushes you over the edge with this. If you don't like it, you need to say something. And you can just say, look, I'm not a child. I don't appreciate being talked to like one. That's it. Matter of fact, you're telling her that she's making you feel like she's talking to you like you're a child, and you don't like it. But again, it's not about being rude. It's not about allowing someone to do it over and over and over until it pushes you over an edge, right? And then you blow up. That you don't want to wait for that to happen either. So, and this leads me to my third point, which is if someone crosses our boundaries, we need to confront them in a respectful way. So that's an example of that and it's the same thing with my first scenario. It's not about getting into an argument with your spouse. It's about the fact that you are making that decision. I am not doing just because this is her mother-in-law, and maybe she's a stay-at-home mom, and not saying there isn't work with that. I've been a stay-at-home mom before. I know how much work it is. Um, she's saying she can't handle it. And and her feelings are valid, and she has the right to make that decision for herself. Doesn't mean she has to get into a fight with her husband about it. She just has to matter of factly tell him, "Look, I'm not doing this anymore. I can't. I don't think this is the right thing for me to be doing. She needs more help than I can give her. Our kids are struggling with this whole situation, and we need to put their needs first." You know, and then it's up to her husband and his siblings to figure out what they're going to do. And maybe this is going to cause a strain in their marriage, but my guess is if she does this and it causes a strain, that strain was already there, right? So my last and final point would be it's important to keep our boundaries consistent so that people know what is expected of them. So um, last week I was at a networking meeting. I'm a freelancer. I work for myself doing some consulting work. And I was at a local networking luncheon, and I met this man who, let's just say, he still uses AOL for email. So, what more needs to be said about that, right? But he, was talking about tech help, helping people with simple things like with doing things with your email and um, maybe even it's Google Drive or it's Dropbox or whatever, things that seem basic to someone like me can seem hard to someone else, and there's no shame and no judgment there with that. But he kept, saying, that he needs some pro bono work from me. Basically, he wants me to do, help him with his AOL email service for free. First of all, I haven't used AOL in over a decade, probably since the 90s, right? Um, I don't even know anybody else who uses AOL. So, I, so to help him would require me to do research, and he's got different signatures he wants to be able to use. He wants to know how to do that in AOL without having to copy and paste every time. I don't even know if that's possible. Maybe it is. I know in Gmail it's possible, and if he used Gmail, I'd be more than happy to show him. Would take me a couple minutes, and you know, and fine, I would be happy to do that with no charge. But if I have to figure out how to do this on AOL, no, that's going to take me some time to research that. He's going to need to give me access to his AOL account so I can go in there and test and something. No, I'm not doing that. I'm capable of doing it, but I'm not doing it pro bono. And and he joked that he'd buy me a glass of wine. Well, I don't even drink wine. I a glass of wine. I mean, at that point, you should be buying me a bottle of wine, but I don't drink wine, so I don't want the bottle of wine. So anyway, the point is that I have to set that boundary that no, I'm not doing pro bono work. If he had, like I said, if he had a Gmail account, that would be a different story because I know how to do what he wants to do in there, and I could quickly make a Loom video and show him how to do it. It would take me 2 minutes, if that, and that would be done. I wouldn't be doing it for him. I would show him how to do it, and I would leave it at that. But you're using something like AOL. No, I'm not doing that pro bono. You'll have to pay for that. So, anyway, all of that to say that you encounter people every day that will, in some way, want to take advantage of you. And, um, if you don't want people to take advantage of you, you have to set those boundaries. So, anyway, I hope this has been helpful to someone. And I hope that everyone is having a great day. And we'll see you again the next time.